Okay, just between us, okay, let's have a conversation. Do you believe in giants? Come on, be honest. You can tell me. It's just between us. Well,
Yeah,
of course not. Giants aren't real. Don't be ridiculous. Okay, fair enough. Giants aren't real. In the ancient texts, before history, there were giants. Not myths. Not legends. Real. Violent. Powerful. The Book of Enoch calls them the Nephilim, the offspring of watchers and human women. Forbidden. Erased. Denied. But what if they weren't a myth? What if the Bible, Sumerian tablets and global flood stories all point to one terrifying truth? I don't know about you, but the more I learn, the less I know. There is so much evidence pointing to the fact that the world we live in is full of things we cannot see, forces that are beyond our understanding. But maybe we've been here before. Maybe we've existed at other times in different bodies. I mean, how else do you explain these disturbing statues found in Malta that show clear depictions of human fetuses being ripped from their mother's wombs? I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think this world has existed long before we got here and will continue long after we leave. They say only the truly insane can perceive the unseen. If that's true, then perhaps we're all truly insane. 200 fallen angels descended on Mount Hermon, took human wives and created a race of giants, the Nephilim. Violent, cannibalistic, corrupting the earth so bad that God wiped them out with a flood. But the Bible says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and after. After what? Sumerians, Babylonians, Greeks, native tribes, all speak of sky gods and half-divine giants. The Vatican hides Enoch. Scholars call it myth. But the DNA, the bones, the megalithic ruins no human could lift. What if the Nephilim never died? What if they're coming back? Sometime between 400 and 2000 BC, depending on who you talk to, an event occurred that forever changed humanity. It's referred to by many names: the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, the Watchers, even the Reptoids. They come from a race of beings known as the Anunnaki, visitors from another planet who came to Earth for gold and used humans as slaves. According to ancient texts, the Anunnaki sired children with human women, both willingly and unwillingly. These unions produced giants. In Genesis 6, it says skin for skin, all of them are corrupt, all of them alike. Corruption had come into the world. The time of the Nephilim, when giants walked among men. Most people accept this story as simply that, a story. But a few take it quite seriously. Followers of the Nephilim theory believe that the sons of God or the Watchers were aliens who came to Earth on spaceships and mated with human women. They also believe that the Nephilim, the offspring of these unions, were real and that they coexisted with humans for a time before being wiped out by a great flood. Nephilim means offspring or giants. This word appears 6 times in the Old Testament, but was rendered serpent in the King James Version. Some scholars speculate that the author of 1 Chronicles made this change because he thought the term Nephilim was synonymous with the Hebrew word nechash, which means serpent. Others believe the term Nephilim is actually a mistranslation and that the original Hebrew text actually referred to some other type of being altogether. Followers of the Nephilim theory believe that these beings were real and that they coexisted with humans for a time before being wiped out by a great flood. They also believe that the Nephilim were responsible for many of the ancient world's mysteries, including the pyramids and Stonehenge. The Book of Enoch tells the story of the Nephilim and their war against the children of man. According to Enoch, the Nephilim were the offspring of the Watchers and human women. And they were violent and warlike. They lived in the mountainous regions of the earth and they terrorized the inhabitants of the land. Eventually, the archangel Raziel sounded a trumpet and the sons of God fled. Enoch also tells of the war between the angels and the giants. The angels were led by the archangel Uriel and the giants by the prince of the giants, Azazel. The war was fierce and many angels and giants were slain. In the end, the angels were victorious and the giants were banished from the earth. But what if the Nephilim never died? What if they're still out there today, hiding in the shadows waiting for the day they can rise again? This may sound like a crazy theory, but there is some evidence to support it. For example, there are many reports of giant skeletons that have been found all over the world. These skeletons are huge, up to 9 feet tall, and they date back thousands of years. Some people believe these skeletons were the remains of the Nephilim. There is also the fact that many ancient cultures have myths and legends about giants. For example, the Greeks had the Titans, the Norsemen had the Jotnar, and the Native Americans had the Iroquois. All of these cultures had stories about giants living among humans before they were wiped out by a great flood. Now, before you dismiss this theory completely, consider this. What if the Nephilim are still out there today, living in secret and watching us? What if they're waiting for the day they can rise again and take over the world? Now, I don't know about you, but that's a scary thought. We're taught that evolution is a fact. The theory that humans evolved from apes over millions of years is widely accepted as true. But what if there's more to the story? What if there's a missing link, a piece of the puzzle that's been hidden from us? There are many people who believe that the Nephilim are the missing link, the bridge between man and ape. They believe that the Nephilim were the first human-like creatures to walk the earth and that they evolved into modern humans over time. Some believe the Nephilim were the first hominids and that they were the first to use tools and build shelters. They believe that the Nephilim were the first to develop language and that they were the first to worship a higher power. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty radical theory. It challenges everything we've been taught about human history. But it's a theory that has some merit. After all, there are many gaps in the evolutionary record, and the Nephilim could be the missing link that scientists are looking for. Maybe we haven't always been here and the world has existed long before we got here. What if we've existed at other times in different bodies? Maybe we've lived as Nephilim and other times as Cro-Magnons. Maybe we've been here before and will be here again in the future. The idea that we've lived before and will live again is a popular one in New Age circles. But it's also found its way into mainstream culture. The movie The Reincarnation of Peter Proud follows a man who begins to remember his past lives and eventually realizes that he has been here before. He's lived many lives and he'll live many more. That's the message of the movie. What do you think? Is there any truth to the idea that we've lived before and will live again? Let me know in the comments below. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Nephilim theory is the fact that it has been largely ignored by the mainstream. Most people, including historians and scientists, dismiss the idea of the Nephilim out of hand. But that doesn't mean they're wrong. In fact, there are many people who believe that the Nephilim are real and that they are still out there today. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a scary thought. Imagine walking down the street and not knowing whether or not you're being watched by a pair of giant eyes. Imagine turning around and seeing a towering figure with skin like rocks move towards you. It's a nightmare scenario that fortunately seems highly unlikely. But what if it's not? What if the world we live in is full of things we see and forces we do and understand? What if we've been here before and will be here again? What if the Nephilim are real and they're coming back? That's right. This may sound like a crazy theory, but it's one that has some merit. After all, there is a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that the world we live in is full of things we see and forces we do and understand. We just have to keep our eyes open and our minds sharp if we want to see the truth. Thanks for watching. Do you believe in giants? Share your thoughts below.